Hi everybody, I'm Alice Polley. I've been a member of Village Church for over 40 years now. My 3 kids were raised in this church. I have 6 grandchildren that I've read stories to, and I'm very happy that Michaela has asked me to read you a book. I'm reading you a book about me today. It's called The Girl Who Never Made Mistakes. Well, no, not really. It's not really about me. It's written by Mark Pett and Gary Rubenstein, and it's illustrated by Mark Pett. And I have to say that for copyright rules. So, The Girl Who Never Made a Mistake. Her name is Beatrice Bottomwell. For Beatrice Bottomwell, Friday began like every other day. She matched her socks, and of course she put her shoes on the proper feet. She remembered to feed her hamster, Humbert, his favorite food. What do you think it was? It was broccoli. And when she made a sandwich for her brother Carl's lunch, she used exactly the same amount of peanut butter as jelly. When she stepped outside to greet her fans, she didn't forget to say good morning and thank you. They asked if she made her beds. She had. They asked if she forgot to do her math homework. No. And what about tonight's talent show, they asked. I'm ready, said Beatrice with a smile. After all, her juggling act had won for 3 years in a row. Most people in town didn't even know Beatrice's name. They just called her the girl who never made mistakes. Because for as long as anyone could remember, she never did. Unlike Beatrice, Carl made lots of mistakes. He ate his crayons and drew with his green beans. He danced with his hands and played the piano with his feet. Carl loved to make mistakes. At school, Beatrice was on a cooking team with her 2 best friends, Millie and Sarah. To make their giant rhubarb muffins, they needed 4 eggs. Beatrice went to the refrigerator and carefully chose the biggest, eggiest eggs she could find. But on her way back, her legs slipped out from under her and the eggs went flying. Beatrice was about to make her first mistake. But she didn't. That was close, thought Beatrice. She caught all 3 of them. Do you believe that? Sorry, Beatrice dropped a piece of rhubarb. Don't mention it, Millie said. For the rest of the school day, Beatrice could not stop thinking about her almost mistake. She has a lot of voices talking to her in her head. On her way home from school, Beatrice watched Millie and Sarah ice skating in the park. Come join us, said Millie. It's fun, said Sarah. Beatrice watched them slip and slide on the frozen pond. They laughed as they wobbled on the ice. No thanks, said Beatrice. At supper, Beatrice barely touched her food. Is everything all right, kiddo? Asked her father. I'm worried I'll mess up tonight, said Beatrice, and everyone will be watching. Worry? You don't make mistakes, he said with a smile. Beatrice tried to smile too. I'm waiting for a truck to drive by. There. After supper, Beatrice got ready for the talent show. First, she woke Humbert up from his nap. Next, she got the salt shaker from the kitchen table. Finally, she filled a balloon with water. The school auditorium was packed. Beatrice felt her stomach jumping around inside of her. Beatrice waited for her juggling music to begin. That's her. That's the girl who never makes mistakes, said a woman. Oh, we know she'll be perfect, said a man. When the music started, she tossed Humbert into the air. Next, she added the salt shaker, and finally, the water balloon. Beatrice didn't miss a beat, and the crowd clapped with delight. But Beatrice noticed something odd about the salt shaker. The specks falling out of it were not white. Achoo! What do you think is going on? Humbert was so surprised by his sneeze that he grabbed the water balloon with his claws. Kabooey! And Humbert, pieces of water balloon, and the pepper rained down on top of Beatrice. For the first time in as long as anyone could remember, Beatrice made a mistake, and it was a big one. Oh. The music stopped. Beatrice didn't know what to do. Cry? Run off the stage? And the crowd sat stunned. They couldn't believe that the girl who never makes mistakes had made a mistake. Oh my. Beatrice looked up at Humbert, and he looked back at her. His hamster fur was soaked and speckled with bits of balloon, and Beatrice let out a giggle. And the giggle grew into a chuckle, and the chuckle became a laugh, and the people in the crowd looked at each other and then back at Beatrice, and they began to giggle, and then chuckle, and then finally roar with laughter. Beatrice and the audience laughed until they couldn't remember why they were laughing. I call that a giggle fit myself. That night, Beatrice slept better than she ever had. And in the morning, no fans greeted Beatrice. And when she got dressed, for no reason at all, she put a polka dot sock on one foot and a plaid sock on the other. That's radical. Beatrice and Carl made sandwiches. This time they put the peanut butter and jelly on the outside. They called it an inside-out PB&J, and lunch was messy and delicious. Later, Beatrice found Millie and Sarah skating in the park. They fell a lot, and they laughed. Now, people no longer called her the girl who never makes mistakes. They just called her Beatrice.